Welcome back. Thousands of felons are released from California prisons after serving a fraction of their given sentence. So how often are they committing new crimes?
Julie Watts is working to get answers because the state hasn't released that information in years.
Yeah, the last recidivism report from CDCR looked at inmates released back in 2016 before voters passed Prop 57. But we've analyzed data that indicates since then, tens of thousands of inmates have been released under Prop 57 early parole or advanced release credits. And CDCR has yet to reveal how often those inmates are reoffending.
A man accused of killing, then dismembering a 77-year-old woman inside her home.
Darnell Irby was released under the Prop 57 nonviolent offender parole review. Sacramento mass shooting suspect Smiley Martin was denied parole, then released anyway with so-called earn credits. These are just two examples of inmates who served less than half their sentence before being released under Prop 57.
We're supposed to know how and when and why inmates are released.
As we reported, CDCR is supposed to notify DAs and victims when someone's paroled, but the Placer County DA didn't know Darnell Irby was released until he was arrested for allegedly dismembering a woman.
That's not how the system is supposed to work.
Then there are the Prop 57 so-called earn credits that Smiley Martin received, which inmates now automatically get, cutting most sentences by at least half. With credits, CDCR doesn't have to notify the DA of the credit calculation or even the fact that someone's been released. So DAs and victims often don't know until they're rearrested. That's what happened in the case of Smiley Martin, who was accused of criminal activity while in prison and denied parole due to his risk of violence and criminal activity, only to be released anyway months later with credits. Martin would have been behind bars the night of the Sacramento mass shooting if he'd served even half his sentence for domestic violence. So are these anomalies? Well, that's not clear because CDCR hasn't released a recidivism report for several years, citing delays due to COVID. The last one looked at offenders released before Prop 57 took effect. We asked the agency for updated records earlier this month, and they said the reports would be published last week. But last week came and went, and the agency stopped responding to our email. In the meantime, we compiled our own data, reviewing years of court-ordered inmate release reports. While not complete, they reveal CDCR has granted early parole under Prop 57 to more than 5,000 inmates since 2017. Remember, DAs are notified of these releases. But records reveal more than 15,000 inmates were released with credits last year alone. And in those cases, prosecutors and the public are often in the dark.
Now, CDCR's data tracks inmates for 3 years after release, so the reports we're expecting should date back to inmates released in 2018. In the meantime, while DAs can track inmates who've been paroled under Prop 57, and several report a roughly 40% rearrest rate, CDCR is the only one with rearrest data on those inmates released with credits.